So moving right along, doing some piston ring filing today. Piston ring set I got was it's a Total Seal CR82645. This is for stock bore. These are all foul to fit. Alright, so I'm going to set up these piston rings. Total Seal comes with instructions on, I guess they're just generic instructions, but they do show a diagram of clocking the end gaps of your rings. Also like measurements that pertain to this ring set. And then they have this little card here that shows clearances based off your setup. So if you see here, we're going to be running probably like 18 pounds of boost, so it's going to be medium boost 15 to 30. We're going to be running regular gas 93. So you take your bore, which is standard bore 3.552 times 0.007, and that's the same for top or the first compression ring and the second one. And then the oil rail rings, those are minimum of 15,000 clearance for essentially whatever application. And honestly, after putting those in and measuring them, they were kind of all over the place, but they were all for sure well above the minimum, so no worries there. I did the math on this already, and standard bore times 0.007 equates to 0.024588, something like that, or 488 something, rounded up to 25 thousandths of an inch. One conclusion I made with checking all these oil rings is that these are all kind of like all over the place, gap wise, but they're all well within spec. I mean, I think they range from like 0.25 to 0.30 is what I found on them. I don't know why they're so different, but I've already measured these, so I'm just going to throw them in the piston. You have to do the oil ring first. It's got like these little praying hands where it meets. Hands go upward. One goes on the bottom. Start it like this and roll it. Now there is a certain way to clock all these rings. Let's see. All my pistons are marked. Front of engine. Bottom oil ring gap needs to be about, let's say, like the 11 o'clock. So let's see. There we go. Move that to about the 11. Top oil ring needs to be about 7 o'clock. Hold all these in place. This guy to about 7. Done. So oil ring expander gap is somewhere in the middle here. So let's see, there's the expander. I'm gonna need to move this guy around. In hindsight, I probably should start with the expander first. All right, so there's the expander. And move the bottom ring back to where it needs to be, which was at about the 11. This is the hardest way possible to do it. what you should do is start it relatively close, but I usually just throw them on and then move them afterwards. Let's see, it was oil ring gap. Top oil ring gap needs to be way over here. So all right, so that one's set. Now we can go ahead and start filing our second ring and our top ring. I've already done all my other ones. This is my last one to do here. Number 2 piston. I'm going to go ahead and measure the number 2 cylinder. Let's see. It's got a dot. Yes, there it is. The second ring has a dot. Let me see if I can get that to focus. There it is. So that always goes up. So when I'm doing my filing and my checking, I'm going to put that exactly as it should be. But with the gap at the bottom, it makes it easier to check. So I like to kind of set the left side in and press the right in behind it. So you can see there's a tiny gap. Use my piston. They make tools to set these in there, but I like to push the oil ring all the way to the bottom and then use the oil rings to set my distance here. I'll go until the bottom touches, push until the bottom is flat. Now, tap the oil ring up to the top, and you push it in the rest of the way on the top. Should be nice and square. Yeah, it looks really small of a gap. I'm gonna guess probably 0.13, 0.12. Yeah, 0.12. A little bit tight. So we got quite a ways to go. I'll pop that out of there and take it to my ring filer. All right, so this is a Summit Racing ring filer. It's essentially a Pro Comp that's been rebadged. It comes with, this is like a guide for you to put your piston ring up against. Comes with a dial indicator and everything, but it's very janky. For example, if you look at the slop here, it's quite measurable. That's just the play that we have here in this little, I don't even know what you call it. Let me set my phone up, that way I can get a free hand. All right, so the easiest way I found to get these on there is to kind of put the left side in the opening here. Damn, you can't see anything. There's like a small opening. Put the left side there and just kind of twist it around. There you go. I like to pull it back a little bit, give it about, I don't know, maybe like 30 thousandths, 40 thousandths sticking out. Clamp this first one down and then use an Allen wrench and tighten this one too to keep that from sliding. And then I like to, this little block here, I like to push in with my thumb when I'm grinding to keep it nice and square, because there's a lot of slop in here, and if I don't, it'll kind of angle. So what I like to do here is use my thumb, brace it to where it's going to be when I'm grinding, then set it to 0. And since I was only at about 12 thousandths of an inch, I need to get 25. I'm gonna, this, you really can't go off of this dial. I'm gonna go, I need to go 10 thousandths of an inch, but this dial indicator is kind of shit. So I'll go to like the 3/4 mark. It's like a longer hash mark there. And then I'll remeasure and then try again. Do not try and go off of these numbers here. It will screw you up. And you just got a little switch, kick it on. This would be at about a 3/4 mark. I'll turn it off. Yep, about 3/4 mark there. So now I'll take it out, toss it in, see what we got. Feel this, yeah, it's got a little lip. I have this little sanding stone here. Just take that little edge off of it, especially the one that sits against the cylinder wall. The last thing you want is that screwing up your angle and giving you a false reading. I'll take the little edges off of it so you don't feel anything at all. On the inside here too, apparently. All right, back over to the engine. All right, so make sure we're measuring it the exact same way. Dot's still up. Left side in, right side in. Now, piston. Push it in until it bottoms out. Push the ring up. I'll call that like a 0.21. I like to set it flat against the deck surface and then try and work it in. Oh well. Didn't take much off at all apparently. So yeah, it's actually probably about a 0.19, 2 thousandths. So we got a lot more work to do. Don't ever, well, I don't think it would hurt much, but I like to grind the same side each time. So make sure you put that against the sanding stone, leave that one out. It keeps it nice and square that way in my opinion, but I think you got to the 3/4. Let's see. Yeah, close enough. You know, I'd rather measure it 1,000,000 times and get it on and not waste any more rings than fuck it up and have to buy more rings. Because once you take too much off, it's over. Let's go to 22 thousand, see what we got. That fit pretty snug. I'd say it's about 22 thousandths right now. So got a little smidge to take off again. All right, I think we're pretty good there. That was very snug, 25 thousandths. 26 thousandths really doesn't fit all the way down, so yeah, she's 25 thousandths. All right, second ring's done. Top ring is going to be the exact same, 25 thousandths ish. So if you look at the top ring, there's no dots on it, but there is a laser etched number right here. And it's got a chamfer. Chamfer goes up on the top ring, down on the second ring. But the other way to remember it is, you know, any dots or laser etching goes upward on these rings anyway. So laser etching up. These ones are usually way oversized. Yeah, you can see it's kind of overlapped here. Well, you probably can't see, but so I found on this ring filer in particular, way to speed this up is, even though it's a little bit sloppy, I can pretty much get away with setting this up and taking off. I'm gonna go 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000. I'll end up in the 70. Well, I'll get close to 70. I'll stop probably right in here somewhere. But yeah, you can easily go that far and not have to worry about checking, because it's about 30,000's too big. But go ahead and grind this up. To grind that much off, there's gonna be a big lip, so you definitely need to use your sanding stone now. You can use emery cloth or sandpaper too to do the same job. It might be 20,000s, but I'd be surprised. Yeah, so we're probably at 18,000 7-inch here. So yeah, on the top ring, for sure, just kind of go a little bit ham. Yeah, 18,000ths of an inch. Still got a lot to go on that one. So, checked it out, 25,000ths. So now I'm going to put these rings on. So just go ahead and pull this one out, that way it's ready to go. Alright, so piston goes this way. Second compression ring needs to go at exactly the, that'd be the 9 o'clock. So you find your little dot, here's the dot, here's the 9 o'clock. I'm gonna do this the smart way. I'll put that in the top ring on the dummy. Second ring, now roll it around. They make tools to do this, but whatever. I'm gonna give it a little twist, make sure it moves nice and freely in there, which it does. Make sure it's still at about the 9 o'clock position. Now, let's see. Top compressor ring needs to go exactly opposite of it over here on the 6 o'clock, so, or sorry, 3 o'clock. So find your groove in your writing. Put your gap in and roll her around. And there she is. Make sure your other grooves are still the way they need to be, which clearly they're not. Everything's rotated around again. There it is. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, it's actually where it's supposed to be. All right, that's done.